Die young, push it to the limit, I can't go no more. Red light, no way, I'm coming back home. Long dirt road, all on my own. I'ma be the greatest, write my name in the stone. Write my name in the stone.
What is up, guys? Random footage from around here, and today and tomorrow, because this video will be a 2-day video, is exciting. We're going to finish the Skyline, and we're going to do the first startup on the fresh rebuild, and hopefully it runs okay. So let me turn the camera around, show you guys where we're at, and what we're going to be doing today. So, as you can see, we're pretty close to being complete. We're just missing one crucial piece. Oh yeah, the turbo, the spinny boy. So I have to mount the exhaust manifold, which is pretty simple. Gasket, exhaust manifold, and 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 bunch of nuts. So I'm gonna do that. And then we have to get the turbo in there, which if I'm not mistaken, I don't think it fits in from this angle. So I will have to mess around with that and see. And as I'm doing it, I also have to get the coolant lines. As you can see, the line right there, the line right here, and then you got the oil drain, and then one of the other lines is on the turbo. So I gotta get all that hooked up as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this exhaust manifold on, show you guys that, show you guys how bad it is to fight the turbo in there, and yeah, we'll keep working our way through this. Bam, exhaust manifold is on, and we had to jack the car up. Why do we jack the car up? The turbo will not fit from the up part, and it already scratched a little, so I don't wanna scratch anymore. So I'm going to crawl underneath the car, feed the turbo up, and have my wife probably start a bolt on each side. And then it's oil drain, oil fill, and both coolant lines also have to be hooked up. So exhaust manifold looks really good. All the bolts are torqued down. So turbo time. Once I get the turbo in, I'll show you guys that, and then work our way front, and we'll work our way back with the exhaust. So I'll be back in a few. Whew, that was fun. As you can see, the turbo is in, and I am sweaty. So now I'm going to work on doing the intercooler piping from the turbo forward and putting the intake filter on, which is also connected to a pipe. So I'm gonna knock that out, and then I'll show you guys the complete project and then start working on the downpipe. All right, see you on a few. And here we go. Intercooler piping, all hooked up. Intake filter on, all hooked up. We got the tubes from the boost controller to the wastegate and to the charge pipe. And then everything else has been tightened, all the coolant hoses, everything for the turbo. So all I have to do now is crawl under the car, clean off the flange for the other side of the exhaust, put some exhaust making or gasket making material on it, and tighten those down and torque them. So I'm gonna work on that. I'm probably gonna end the video today there. The only other thing I have to do is put my catch can coolant reservoir here, which is pretty easy. It's just 2 bolts and the hoses that go to the top of the valve cover. So I'm gonna get that done today, and I'll check in back with you guys tomorrow when this is hopefully getting ready to be started. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, it is the next day. I'm tired because I couldn't sleep last night because how excited I was to start this Skyline. So we have a couple things to do this morning before we start it, but it's not much. We have to do the transmission fluid, the oil, fill the coolant, and then once the car's running, obviously bleed the coolant system. And then what I'm thinking I'm going to do is we're going to run oil for basically 1 heat cycle, dump it, put on fresh oil, new oil filter, and that would be just to get any little metal flakes or anything that's left in this engine after we rebuilt it. So yeah, this is where I'm at. Let me turn the camera on. This finished product is like, I'm so happy. So let me turn the camera on and show y'all. Bam. Gosh, it looks so good. So obviously, you know, the front end's not on it yet, but intercooler's mounted. I ended up pulling, you know, like I showed previously, all the old AC stuff out of here, because it was just like old crummy stuff. Now it makes the radiator look not as good, but you know, one thing at a time. I'm not rich, and this car likes to test the limits. So the exhaust manifold looks super good. It used to be really rusty, so I'm just super happy with that. I mean, all in all, the engine bay looks really good. Ignore the back wall of the engine bay, but yeah, look at that. So this is where we're at. I'm going to probably set up a time lapse. I think you guys like the time lapses. So I'm gonna put a time lapse. I'm gonna get the car on jack stands on all 4 corners during that time lapse. and then I'll come back in a little bit once Jacob gets here. That way he can help me with the trans fluid. I can shut the transmission up and get everything else going. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I'm back. It's been a bit. Jacob just got here a little bit ago. So we have filled the transmission fluid up with MT90, Redline quality stuff. Got the shifter and everything reassembled. We got oil in it, new oil filter, additive, and we're gonna take the spark plugs out so we can make it turn over easy. So I'll be back in a few once we get all this removed, and yeah, we'll see it turn over for the first time. Running. We're gonna let that run for a little bit, and then I'll be back when we go for a test drive. Well, it's been about 10-15 minutes. It's running beautifully. Everything is getting to where it needs to be. We're just kind of letting it burp the coolant, whatever it wants to take. The best part about it though is we did all of that and we're still getting the horrible ticking. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it on video. So we're still getting ticking. We don't know why. But other than that, it's running good. Compression was good. I think it was about a 140 to 160 depending on, we checked with a few compression testers. So let's say 150 average is pretty good. So we're gonna keep working on it. We're gonna probably get it on the ground in a few minutes and hopefully take it for a drive soon. We just are trying to let the new oil, we put an oil additive in it. We're just trying to let that go through the engine to make sure everything is solid before we take it for a drive. So I'll check back in a few. What is up, guys? I know this video has been dragged out and it's been probably 4 or 5 days of filming now of mixed up, but after we got it running the other day, we played around with it and we had a couple issues. I went on a test drive, so let me turn the camera on and I'll show you guys, what I've had to work on so far. So after Jacob and I took it on a short test drive where everything felt really good, I ended up going for about a 40-50 mile test drive. I took it all around down pretty much just like this. That was kind of fun, a lot of broken necks. But I noticed when I got home, like, man, every time I stopped at a stoplight, the idle was a little rough. So I started playing around with it, swapping coil packs all around. Could not find it, but I found that cylinder 4, no matter what I did, it never changed. So I started going through my fuel injector cables, as you can see, I just repaired it. So I wanted to kind of show you guys how it looked. I'm going to tape it up and then heat shrink on each side of the tape. The wire and the pin had popped out, probably while we were working on it, who knows. So I got that rewired, everything's smoothed out. It does seem like the tune probably needs to be touched up, and I would guess that's related to all the valves that had been repaired, probably leaking by. The engine's probably running a little cleaner actual, so now the tune has to be cleaned up to match it. But other than that, it's running pretty good. So now where I'm at is I'm probably gonna start putting the body panels back on, at least get like the fenders and the headlights and everything started to get lined up. Hood I'll need help with, the bumper's super easy. And then the side skirts, I'm gonna clean up really good underneath where they go. There's like some cracked paint and stuff underneath. I mean, old Japanese car, it's bound to happen, but I wanna just at least wash it really good, get all the dirt, maybe do some like sticky weather stripping in between the side skirt and the car, just so no other stuff gets in there and sits in there rubbing the whole time. So yeah, this is kind of where I've been at. The best part about all of this though, is the engine makes the exact same noise. It's got that ticking on cylinder 4. It's funny, the same cylinder that was missing the fuel, but I don't know. It runs perfect. It idles perfect. It pulls like a bat out of hell. So I really don't know. I'm gonna bring it by the shop that worked on the head and let them listen to it and see what they say. But I even took a screwdriver, like a 2-foot screwdriver, and tapped it everywhere, and the ticking is really right here. And that's where we also have the cam damage. Maybe the cam is smacking around, who knows? It's really hard to say. Again, it is running perfect, so I'm not super concerned, because what can you do? We just pulled the whole engine apart, had stuff resurfaced, cleaned everything up, put it back together, it makes the same noise. What are you gonna do? So I'm still working on this harness. I'm gonna clean it up, probably put the side skirts and front end back on, and I'll come back and, you know, kind of show you guys what closer to the completed process is looking. So I'll see you guys in a little bit after a little bit of work. Uh-oh. Is that a complete front end on a Skyline? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, I know this video has been scrambled. It's been crazy. It's been all over the place. But we just drove the car for about another hour with the whole front end on. Everything is good. No issues. Ran beautifully. Still have that top end noise. Who knows what the hell it is. But thanks for watching. If you enjoy this crazy content, like, comment, subscribe. If you don't enjoy it, tell me why below. I will see you guys next time when we're lowering the Kia Stinger. Peace.